Welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. And this is your November new moon 2025. And let's get a little close up here. It's November 20th. November 20th, 2025 at 12:46 a.m. Central Time Zone. Adjust for where you live. It is a new moon, and you see the planets that I have on the screen. Do you see them? These are the rulers of this new moon event because that's just the way it works. We've got not only the moon and Mercury, but Pluto and Mars. This is intense. That's what that means. It means this is an intense beginning. Infuse it with the spiritual, right? That's the goal. Take the spirit, take the material, tangible world and infuse it with the 5D, with the higher energy, with the spiritual energy. Because that's how we can create a balance with all this. It's just too much intensity, too much power, too much force, right? Too much in your face, too much fight. Right. Have you guessed? What is this, a new moon in? Yeah, I'm sure you figured it out by now. It is a new moon in Scorpio at 28 degrees. Scorpio new moon, 28 degrees. And it's loaded. You see? It's loaded. 28 degrees, Mercury is there. Right at 28 degrees. And that, of course, a new moon means the sun and the moon are there as well. So that's Mercury, the sun, the moon. Black moon Lilith is at 26 degrees there. Black moon Lilith. So she's conjunct this new beginning. Holy shit. And then even Venus is in Scorpio too, our money and our values. You know, Venus is my money, my values, but here she is in the shared values. Remember, this is like turf war money, and turf war energy, I should say, where we want those natural resources. We want that land because it's rich, right? It's got, what do they call that? The rare earth minerals. But it's, coal, right? Oil. Like this is all that, what I call that old energy, old money type of stuff. Yeah. That's what we get with the new moon, a new beginning. So in your chart, you're looking for your Scorpio energy. Make it simple. Find Scorpio. Find the 28 degrees. Okay. We're probably going to have a bigger orb. So I'll get to that in a second. This is tariffs. This is taxes. This is insurance money. It's also the past and wounds. The past and wounds, vulnerabilities, deep psychology, the occult can be kind of a mystery. Scorpio is really psychic energy as well, right? Very, very psychic energy. And I'm going to add here that this 28 degrees, we got so much here. This energy is more moon energy. It's the public, it's homes, it's families, it's feminine energy, it's nurturing. Think the moon, think of the sign of Cancer. So we think of the past, our tribal energy. So tribal wounds because of the way I look, possibly. Absolutely, right? And somehow a new beginning with all of that. So it's loaded. There's a lot of ways this can look in your chart. I think the best thing to do is to find out, once we look up in the sky where Mars and Pluto are, then you also look to see where your natal Mars and Pluto are in your chart. You see, because that gives you the extra details of, what the hell is this going to mean for me? Mars is at 11 in Saggy. Now, I know there was going to be some gun legislation or gun rulings, but I'm hoping with the Mars, because Mars is weapons, I'm hoping also with the Mars, this can be Supreme Court and somebody kind of standing their ground. This is kind of, a rebelliousness type of energy, which can be good and can be not so good, depending upon how you look at the definition of freedom and justice and equality and fairness. And how does our judicial system work anyway? And does it work? This is judges. Sure. It's also traveling, the airlines. And we think of all those folks who, because the government is on a shutdown, who aren't getting paid, the air traffic controllers, taking a vacation, going up in the air on an airplane, right? Flying over the ocean. This is Saggy energy going on an adventure. But it's an adventure to seek out searching of truth, of knowledge and wisdom, higher learning. It's also very spiritual and religious energy as well. But there's action being taken with that kind of energy, an action, and there's some rebelliousness here. This is group energy, by the way. So that's why I think Supreme Court, because it's a group, possibly a group of judges even, right? But this can be different state, federal level judges as well. So some sort of an action being taken. So this energy, the Mars being in Saggy of freedoms and the freedom of our body, freedom of like all of our rights, right? Yeah. Freedom of speech, freedom to protest, freedom to disagree. Holy crap. It's all part of this. And remember the moon degree, 28. Feelings and emotions, public sentiment, emotions of the public. Okay. And things that happened in the past. Here's Pluto in Aquarius, which we knew already. And when Pluto's in Aquarius, and we know Uranus is over there in Gemini. And when Uranus began, when Uranus went from the 1 degrees of Gemini, when it clicked to 0, this is when the ice started acting out and doing really crazy shit here in Chicago, like just going way beyond and basically terrorizing. And I don't know if I'll ever stop talking about it because it should be talked about. So the connection between Uranus, the connection, because Uranus rules Aquarius, you see, and these are power moves, people who have power. And so we think authoritarians showing you their might, right? And enforcing and trying to put fear to the degree where people will act out so that they can literally call for an insurrection within states and bring in federal troops. Like you don't ever want that, right? No, that's not America. Here we have it. The two rulers, Pluto, intense change, group energy, social causes. This is social systems, by the way. So when we talk about the government and the social safety nets that it is supposed to provide for its citizens, yes, the social safety nets, this is Aquarius energy. But it's also alternative energy generally. We think of electricity, we think of all the alternative power, literally, whether it's I'm ruling over you kind of power, or the filthy rich kind of power, or the power of the unionized people, that kind of power too. But also plugging in my car so that I can go travel and charging its battery, that kind of power, right? Think of all the different branches that come up off of that, right? Battery storage, energy power, energy storage. This is all Aquarius. Nuclear energy, this is all Aquarius. This is technology and science and space. And this is NATO for sure. Okay. So it's the humanitarian generally. But if you're not being a humanitarian, you're going to the opposite end of that spectrum. You're being the authoritarian, like I will rule over your ass. Like this is that kind of energy. So with that said, that Mars, that 11 that it's at, that's an Aquarius degree. So there should be an expectation of shocks and surprises. Shocks and surprises by people of authority and who have power. Money comes up big time because, of course, Venus is here and Black Moon Lilith, who is conjunct this new moon, is at 26 degrees. And that's got the Venus vibration of income and money and values. Again, Scorpio energy is like the shit you're drilling for, you're mining for. We think of diamonds and oil and gold. things that, silver and copper, right? Just stuff that you're really digging into the earth. You're ravaging the planet and getting all of its jewels and all of its treasures and turning around and selling it or holding it ransom, whatever the hell. Our money, our values, our desire. So this is all part of this big new beginning. The orbs are going to be all the way from 24 degrees of Scorpio to like 0, maybe 1, maybe even 2 degrees of Saggy. Because if you look closely, we have an object at 0 degrees in Sag. And this object at 0 degrees in Sag is called Nemesis. I know you would think she's making this shit up. I'm really not. And it's at 0 degrees in Sagittarius. So this can be courtrooms. This can be the Supreme Court. Jupiter rules Saggy. And so this absolutely will have a lot to do with immigration. And I want you to see that red line. Uranus, 29 degrees of Taurus in a retrograde. This is expect the unexpected energy. And what is it in? The values, the desires, the money. Taurus energy, banking and finances, technology, but absolutely more authoritarian energy, because these are the authority figures who feel like they can do whatever the hell they want whenever they want. So with that shock and surprise that's on the chart for this new beginning, technology, again, how many times can I say it? You could have things that crash on that day, software, security issues online. It's a retrograde Mercury too. You see that? And things always are wonky when we're in a Mercury retrograde. So for a new beginning, this means it's what I call a false start of a new beginning because of a retrograde. Anytime there's a planet retrograding with a new beginning, it means, okay, so the things and the people that were present at the conversation and the objects on the table and the material that we covered, it's all going to change. We're missing information. We don't have it all because Mercury has to go all the way back to 20 degrees of Scorpio and then go all the way forward to 6 degrees of Saggy and then report on what the information is that Mercury now has. We're being flexible because news and information is big with Mercury. Social media is big with Mercury. Mercury's researching. She's doing her research. The 8 hours leading up to the new moon time are the hours of power where you set your intentions. And the intentions are set based on shared values. Scorpio energy at 28 degrees. Emotions, family, mom, home, the past, history, my tribe, my emotional security, my emotional stability.